welcome Mr. Harsh Jaitley for this webinar on understanding the FCRA's new amendments. His interaction with us. As I mentioned, he's a CEO of Vani, and he has more than 3 decades of experience in public policy and management and planning, and he brings with him so many decades of experience with the social sector, and he has studied the various laws and regulations relating to the social sector over so many years. So that's the reason why we wanted his advice on these amendments. Mr. Jaitley, as we all know, the microfinance sector in India actually grew out of the NGOs which started working in the developmental sector, and slowly it has got commercialized. And the earliest MFIs, NGO MFIs, were all funded with foreign donors and Indian donors. Of late, of course, that percentage has come down. But even now, there are a large number of small NGOs and NGO MFI who still receive foreign donations, especially for their developmental activities. So it has been a matter of concern for the microfinance sector also, especially the NGO MFIs, about these amendments. And there is a need of a lot of clarity on how exactly to go about and how we can comply with whatever amendments which have been made to the law. So welcome Mr. Jaitley, and welcome all the participants from our microfinance sector. Now the floor is yours, Harshji.
Thank you all of you, and it's a really pleasure. So actually it's a pleasure to talk to you, all of you. Sadhan and Vani has a very old relationship, although we can say that it is not a programmatic relationship, but many board members and founders of Vani are also common to Sadhan, like Mini Bedi or Jagdanand and all those. And it's a very old relationship we have with Sadhan. Somehow we are similar to Sadhan, but we are not that resourceful as Sadhan, because we have a membership of development organization, and they are direct membership is not more than you can say 500, out of which only active member who pay fees are, I think, less than 400 or 350. And outreach membership, which we call, because we have many networks as our members, so that comes to almost 10,000 organizations all over India. So all organizations who are involved in development field are part of this whole we can say network. It is almost 30 years old network. One is 30 years. We started Vani started long back, when 32 years back, when there was a question of self-regulation in the planning commission those days. And when the sector started raising voice against it, they realized that they don't have a network to speak for the sector. So that gave birth to Vani. Primarily as a network or as an apex body, our role is to strengthen the sector from within and also strengthen the enabling environment around it. So as part of that exercise, we do a lot of evidence-based discussions, conversations, even also you can say advocacy on various aspects of external environment or even internal environment of CSOs. That includes starting internally from governance, compliance, accountability, transparency, to internationally the discourse where the Indian civil society stands in that, what we can learn from them. And external environment also includes the regulatory framework, the relationship. So today we are here, I will not take much of your time, but we are here to discuss about the FCRA. See, as you all know that we have in this country, the registration law of NGOs or civil society is very old. We have the registration law, which is of 1860. But it was in 1976 when the FCRA was first introduced in this country, that too due to emergency those days. And we have always in our country, due to maybe our colonial experience, always concerned about the foreign hand. So that was the reason in emergency when there was a problem for Mrs. Gandhi, she had a Kudal commission to investigate that how much foreign money has been used against her, and they investigated Gandhian institutions, and that led to, you can say, formation of law that how to regulate the foreign money into this country. So that's how FCRA came into being. Subsequently, there has been a lot of changes in this act. Whoever came to power, whatever government it has been, whatever political party it is, they have all tried to make it more restrictive than better. So it has gone through a lot of restrictions, controls, and this latest amendment is just part of it. The major overhauling of this act was done in 2010. I think many of you might be receiving foreign money, so it's like telling the experienced people all about what they already know. But this time, what has happened that see, the thing is, if you see the reaction of the sector is on various aspects. One of that is that most of the time, the tradition is for the last almost 2 decades or so, that whenever there is any change proposed by the government in any policy or in any act, they have a conversation with the civil society or even the stakeholders. You can say that if they say concerning about industry, they have discussion. If they're concerning about trade unions, they have discussion. Microfinance, they have a discussion. A few months back, there was an amendment in CSR Act. We were part of the conversation. Before that, like your Income Tax Act, we were part of that. Even FCRA changes, we have always been part of that. But this time, suddenly it has happened that there was no idea what is going to happen. So suddenly these things have come. So there is also more than a shock and surprise. At the time of COVID, when government and even Prime Minister was appreciating the role of civil society in mitigation of COVID, so it all came as a shock. I will just highlight the major 5, 6 changes which has come, and then we can have a discussion on that. The first change which has come, if you see in our sector, we have a question of sub-granting, the provision of sub-granting in which the large organization receives the money from one single or many donors from outside India, and FCRA to FCRA transfer of funds is done. And this was allowed in 2010, and in the rules it was made it clear that all FCRA organizations can transfer money to other FCRA organizations, provided the organization follows the law. They are not in the blacklist and they're in a better position they have better standing. Now that has been stopped and it's not allowed now. So there is a lot of concern about this, that this will lead to what you can call major hindrance of small groups accessing resources. Because as you know, groups are always not as big as Delhi or in metropolitan or state capitals. There are smaller groups in district level or even at block level. They don't have capacity to file log frames and change statements so impressively as desired by today's donors. So what they do is they take help from the larger organization and they get resources. That also promotes the collaboration, partnership, cooperation among the organizations. Now that is going to be hindered, first point. The second point is that, in FCRA is a provision that there is a designated bank account in which you receive the foreign money. That bank account is allocated to you by the FCRA department itself. And it is always in the scheduled bank of Government of India. Nowadays, they are into this, in the bank which follows the PMFS system. Now, what has happened is that in this amendment, they have said that there's going to be one single SBI branch in which all the FCRA organizations will have their account, and that will act as a gateway of foreign funding to India. And whatever money you receive, it will first come to your SBI branch in Delhi, and then it will go to your designated account. So again, and actually, the organizations have no idea that how it's going to function, because already notification is done. They said it's going to function till from 29th of September. All these amendments are actually applicable on 29th of September. So people are concerned how you're going to do that. There's no details. They have no idea. Some people are saying, do they have to come to Delhi to open account? So that is also a concern area, or rather I will say the confusion area. Another change which has come, the third change which has come is that if you see in the 2010 Act, they have clarified that in your budget, you should not spend more than 50% in your administrative expenses. and STA program expenses. Now they have reduced this to 20%. In the Act, it is clearly defined under Section 5 that what is administrative expense and what is program expense. All expenses which is done on the field, like if you're a research organization, the expenditure of researchers, if you're working on health, the expenditure of nurses and doctors, all those expenses are program expenses. The administrative expenses are those expenses which are done on the running of the organization. So now they have reduced this to 20%. That is the third concern area. The fourth concern area is that earlier it was that if you don't follow the law and if there is a major default in the implementation of the law by the organization, in that case, Government of India or the FCRA department can decide not only cancellation of your FCRA, but also take over your property which is created from FCRA money. Now they have added a clause which says that even if you don't want FCRA and if you want to surrender your FCRA, so when you will surrender your FCRA, the government will take your assets. So this is also a concern area that suppose you are running a school and now you think you don't need foreign money because foreign money anyway is getting reduced to India. Foreign funding is going down. See, basically they say there is a 16,000 crores come every year, but that is not for the development sector. It takes for the religious institution, it goes for the scientific research institution, academic institutions. So component of for CSOs is very less. Now suppose there is total shrinking and disappearance of foreign money and you don't need FCRA, and if you surrender FCRA, all your asset which you have created can be taken over by the government. So that is another concern area. Another change which is there, but it is now on the document, which is already in the practice, that is that if you go for renewal, because as you know, we have to renew our FCRA after every 5 years. So when the next renewal of bulk renewal, you can say, is due in October 2021, and if organizations will go for that, the government has decided that they will do a field investigation. Although organizations have no problem in field investigations, but it takes a lot of time because field investigation is not done by FCRA department, rather it's done by sometime IB, sometime local police, sometimes some third department which FCRA department hires for that, and it might take years because those who have gone for renewal in the past, they know that it takes years and all those. So but it was in practice for quite some time. And the last change which they have also suggested is that earlier, if the suspension, if there is any complaint, any problem with FCRA implementation, the ministry can suspend and freeze your bank account. The upper limit for that was 180 days. But it rarely they do it in 180 days. It takes years. And they can even starve that organization with those changes. Now they have made it to 360 days. So for 1 year, you can't say anything if your bank account is frozen and if you're dead. So these are the changes which have been implemented till 29th of September. So with this, I will stop my presentation and look for the questions and discussions.
All those who have questions, you can either raise a hand or you post in the chat so that we can post them to Mr. Jaitley for his reactions. The floor is yours for the participant.
Please guide us how to open the account in State Bank of Delhi. Any guideline do you have, sir?
Guideline which has come till date. They are working on it. But if you remember in the parliament, the minister has said, and afterwards we also came to know from our conversation that, as I said, they are going to identify a branch in Delhi, a State Bank of India branch, who is working on it. State Bank is working on it along with the ministry. There will be staff housed of ministry as well as bank staff. And they are trying to identify branches, bank branches in each district. So the local organization will file their KYC in that district, and that will lead to the opening of your bank account in Delhi. So you don't have to come, but it will be done on the basis of KYC through identified bank by the ministry or by the State Bank. That is the general feeling which we have got, but guidelines are not out, so we are not sure about it. So we all are waiting for that.
Is that since SBI branch has not been notified, can we accept inward remittance in the old FCRA account?
See, there's only suggestion which the experts or the chartered accountants or the legal experts have given to the sector is not to accept or to give a sub grant. Okay, but you can accept the normal grant, direct grant which is coming to you, even if the state bank thing is not done. See, sub grant is prohibited, right? Opening of bank is also going to take time whenever they start, but you can receive direct money because that is not prohibited. But they have suggested not to take and not to give sub grant.
Then there is another question which can you explain the fourth change once again regarding surrender of FCRA?
Yes. See, if you remember, there is no provision of surrendering FCRA. If you see, many years back, they used to say in Parliament there are 40,000 registered organization under FCRA and only 20,000 file their return. So when this issue was raised again and again in Parliament, we raised and we replied that issue through media and directly to MPs also that it is not our problem because FCRA does not have a provision of surrendering FCRA. So those who got in 1976 or even after that, they were registered as a FCRA holding organization even if they don't need it. In fact, many organizations were having more than one FCRAs. So there was no provision if you don't want it, what to do with it. So they started the practice in which they would say cancellation against request. So it never used to say surrender, it says cancellation against request. So if you request, they will cancel it. But now what they have done, they have said clearly under this amendment that if you don't need it, and if you want to surrender your FCRA that I don't want now, I don't need foreign money, or I'm not getting foreign money, please take my FCRA registration back. So in that case, government can take your assets which have been created through FCRA, that can be money, that can be building, that can be any infrastructure.
Jaitley, there was again a question on this bank account thing. I think the question is, I think, how the process of new account. I think you have
I have
explained
explained
properly.
And
Maybe
if
we'll.
anything, Rawal Sahab, you can ask the question if it is not clear.
Sir, yeah, just if we have opened the account in State Bank of New Delhi branch, then how to inform to the FCR department that we have already opened now
Who
this account?
told you to open your bank account in Delhi?
No, SBI Delhi branch, but
No, sir.
you just explained that we can open in our district.
No,
Designated.
Rawal Sahab, what I'm
Ji,
trying
sir.
to say, trying to
Ji, sir.
understand.
Yes, sir.
You don't have to do anything.
Okay, sir.
There is no guidelines come. So
Yes,
please
sir.
relax. Huh?
Okay.
What information we are getting is that also that was told by the minister in the parliament
Ji.
that no NGO has to come to Delhi.
Okay.
So they have identified or they will identify a State Bank of India branch in Delhi who
Okay.
will act as a gateway branch of foreign funding in India.
Okay.
They are also in the process of identifying one or two branches of any scheduled bank
Okay.
in your district. If
Okay.
it is State Bank, fine. If it is not, they will identify another branch. That branch you will go and provide your KYC in that branch,
Okay.
and that your account in Delhi will be opened automatically. So you
Oh,
don't have to do anything now.
great.
Wait for instructions, right?
Okay. Thank you, sir.
ये नहीं करने का.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, Mr. Jaitley, I have a couple of questions which are an issue of concern for us in Sadhan, especially with regard to the sub grant. Now, some part of our funding, not many, but we receive from organizations which are located in India. Let us say we have projects supported by HSBC or DFID or even BMG, Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, which are all these institutions are located in India only. But the funds which we receive from them are in the nature of foreign funding in the foreign currency denominated. So now, will that be treated as a sub grant or not?
Who is sending you that money? Suppose you are getting money from DFID. Is that money coming from DFID UK, or they are coming from, say, any registered organization in India? DFID does not have registration in India. So is that coming from the UK office? If money is coming directly from the donor outside India and not any entity which is registered in India, then it is a direct funding. But suppose you are receiving money from any organization which is registered in India who is receiving money from UK and then giving it to you here, that is a sub-grant. So Gates Foundation, if Gates Foundation is giving you money from their UK office and not from Delhi registration or Indian registration, then it is a direct funding. They have literally categorically told to stop the grant which is coming from any organization which is registered in India, registered in India and having FCRA. So FCRA to FCRA stop. But if you are getting it directly from somewhere, from those, that is not a problem. So you have to find out, like HSBC. Now see, there is also change in the amendment, in the last amendment which was done, that says that any company which operates in India, whether it's a multinational or whatever, if it is operating in India under whatever format, the CSR money is Indian money. It is not a foreign money. That also you can check.
Yeah, I think there is a need for that because the funding from HSBC is from the part of their CSR
Yeah.
funding only.
Yes, yes. So
Then,
you have to check whether it's
yeah,
Indian or, because CSR, actually most of the political parties, they take political donations from these companies. So they have changed it last time to take these companies out of FCRA so that they can receive funding.
Then another issue, of course, in extension of this sub-grant thing. Now, for any of these projects and all, though Sadhan is an implementing agency, our member institution do some of the field level work, and we reimburse some of their expenses on the either in the field staff or actual work which is being done. It is not really in terms of transferring a grant. We reimburse their expenses. Whether such reimbursement can also be technically treated as a sub-grant.
No, no, I think it is not sub-grant because see, in that case, what you are doing is basically you are doing expenditure under your name. You are not transferring any grant. What you are doing is you are you are only reimbursing the expenditure which is done under your name. The receipts are of your name. The program is under your name. So you are not giving any grant. So if you check with the lawyer, I feel that it is not, because FCRA to FCRA is prohibited. You are not doing any grant. What you are doing is you are only reimbursing it. So
Yes.
that is not a sub-grant.
Another question is that if there is only one FCRA account allowed post amendment, can an entity continue the existing FCRA account holding at the local branch, even though they may mandatorily open an account at Delhi SBI?
See, as I said, just try to understand the account in Delhi is basically to control the inflow of funding. If you see that there are more than 24 to 25 INGOs who are under the watch list of Government of India. We don't have any list official. There is no official information about that names in anywhere. That is not in the any website. So many times the money comes from these organizations, and without the knowledge of the bank and knowledge of the recipient or even the sending organization, the expenditure is done. So they want to control that. So for that it is done. So existing bank will remain, because as I said, your existing account is still going to be the primary account. That's what they have told. But my answer would be that please wait for the solution. Please wait for the guidelines which comes. Only thing is that this is only, you can say, the speculations. And let's wait what they suggest. But I think the primary account still remains in your district. You can have many accounts for expenditure, what they call it, utilization accounts, that they are allowed. So that is a separate issue. They have not touched that. It is only one gateway checkpost has been created.
There is another one is asking about if you are for your project, if you are hiring a consultant to do the work and you are paying them. I think your clarification was clear, but still there was a question whether that has to be treated as a sub grant
It is
or
not.
it is a part of the program cost.
Does are you sending money to that person's FCRA account? That is the question.
No,
So
the question was that if actually let us say the fund comes to Sadhan's FCRA account, and if we have to pay them, should we take it into our normal administrative account and then pay, or we can directly pay from the FCRA account for consultants and other things?
that depends on the practice which you follow now. As I said, there is no change. There is no change in the categorization of administrative expenses and program expenses. Only percentage has been reduced. So if they come out with the laws or rules in which they change the whole structure, then it's a question of concern. But in the act which has been signed by the president, there is no change in the categorization. So what we are doing it now is allowed. The definition of sub-grant, as you know, is only that when the money is transferred as a grant. Suppose Sadhan has money and they give it to Vani to do expenditure under Vani's FCRA account, then it is a sub-grant. That is not allowed now.
Okay. There was another question because you said that if an organization surrenders an FCRA registration, it has to surrender all the assets created out of FCRA. So the concern was that it is very difficult to exactly identify assets created out of FCRA because sometimes local money also would have been used and it could be a asset which was created out of joint money. So that would create a lot of complications.
Yes,
So what is the solution for that? Yeah.
It will, because many times when many people have buildings, if the land is foreign money, the construction is Indian money, or if it is land is Indian money, construction is foreign money. How they are going to do it? The only thing is you can demolish that building in the night and say that le jao, take the bricks. But see, let's see how they come out with this, because it was there in the 2010 Act itself. But that was regarding the cancellation. And when we asked this question to ministry, they said that it is created, it's for people running old age home or having, you can say, children's home. So if there is a mismanagement, people used to say that how you can lock it. There are so many children dependent on the institution. So it was like a license for corruption. So they said in that case, we can take over that institution and hand it over to Social Welfare Board. That was in the case of corruption, mismanagement. But now what they have done in the case of surrender also. Actually, they are concerned because suppose you have created, the law is so weak that we do have a black sheep in our sector itself who come to make money. So quite possible, many politicians, many bureaucrats, just retirement time, they generate, they register an organization and take a lot of money and create infrastructure. Ek time le liya, bana liya. And after that, they said, we don't need FCRA. And they have this asset for the lifetime. That might be for this. But the only thing is that all these provisions which are created for to control the corruption are problematic for the innocent and honest people.
One of the questions is that they say that yes, there is a need to ensure transparency, because but probably more transparency may be there with more simplification of the processes as being done in case of FDI also. So why not make the process more simpler rather than making more complicated? That's one question.
That's not a question. That is the ideal situation. In fact, we are asking that government, that a country which has very good IT system, you can monitor all the expenditure, you can monitor the income, because under that PMSF system, public finance system in the banks, they have access already to all FCRA accounts on the day-to-day basis to know how much money has come, where it is spent. They have already done changes that not more than 20,000. You are not allowed to do cash transactions. So already there are things in place. But this is more like a control. So people are asking this question that you can do it normal way, why you're doing like this? Actually, people are now worried that how much percentage of time of an organization, its head and its staff will go into promoting accountability, transparency, and replying to the compliance, because it is not only compliance of that of FCRA. You have to comply with the income tax, you have to comply with the registration laws, you have to comply with the donors. So more scared the donors are, the more complicated reporting system they have. Many times all these reporting systems are contradictory to each other. So 80 to 90% time will go into following them rather than doing actual job in the field. So I agree that is with the point raised, that is the ideal situation, but what to do? No one is addressing the cause of the disease. Everyone is taking care of the symptoms.
So there is one question with regard to the time frame of renewal. What is the time frame
It's
for
5 years.
renewal?
5 years.
Okay.
You can apply 1 year before the 5 years, ideally 6 months. So in next bulk renewals in October 2020.
Actually, but this is with regard to the administrative expenses. You see now there are different donors and they would give salary and administration costs separately. And this 20% limit would be considered for each project, or would it be overall total receipts of the organization?
It's a total receipt of the organization, like what you do in FCRA return.
Right.
The annual return of FCRA, that way, not the each donor.
Okay, thank you.
The question whether on surrendering the FCRA, taking over the assets, is it compulsory or is it at the discretion of the government?
We have to wait for the rules.
Okay.
Because as you know, there is lot of space always in our laws for interpretation. So we are waiting for the guidelines for that. I was joking with MHA that the way it has been proposed, I think whole Habitat Center will be at the disposal of MHA shortly. Because in Habitat Center, most of there are NGOs, and even in India International Center, they can take over anytime. Because who knows, it's made by Indian money or a foreign money.
Renewal of registration will also involve the same level of scrutiny as new applicants, because the older applicants, their information and their work is already known to the department.
See, I will say like this, that last time, if you remember, at the time of renewal, when we all went for renewal, the renewal was going on in a very smooth way. But what happened was that in the Zakir Naik case, which was very surprise to everyone, he got renewal in spite of investigations against him. So that time there was a lot of crisis and a lot of suspensions in department. A lot of people were suspended. After that, they started doing field investigations. So now it says that it is on the department to decide how much investigation they want to do and not want to do. So if the organization is known, if they don't want to do any investigation, they can do it without it.
I think there is a question from a bank also, whether there is any challenge from the banker's perspective.
There is a challenge always for bankers. Which bank is this?
ISAF Small Finance Bank.
Okay. I don't know whether they are covered under FCRA, that they have to open FCRA account under PFMS. What is the system? PFMS system. But see, gradually the responsibility of banks are also increasing. Because if you see now, you have, when you file annual return, bank has to give their statement. Many banks are reluctant to do that. Is a lot of problem. I'm not talking about Delhi or big cities, but in the small districts, banks don't want to work extra. So there's always problem even to take statement from them. Then FCRA demands that all the other roles and responsibilities of the banks, which they don't want to do it. So there is a problem and challenge for banks always. Now, if when see all this issue of as I said, controlling the inflow of money from the organizations which are under scrutiny or prior permission, that was also on the bank. So that was also responsibility of the bank to see whether this money is coming from what source, whether it should go to there or not. Because then they say if money comes, the bank will write to the ministry for clearance, not the organization. So there is, if on FCRA website, there is also charter for banks, which the department has created.
If a project has been supported by FCRA funds and only 1 year is over and 2 more years are left, whether these changes will affect such projects also.
Yes. And the question is that they have done mid-year, mid-financial year. So there is already commitments. So how those commitments are going to get affected is the concern. So that's why we are suggesting that wait for the guidelines.
Okay. Then we would like to conclude. There is a general request that the main points which you can, and as a closing summary, they want you to make the summary, short summary of the main points again.
Okay, I will repeat those. The first is about the sub granting is stopped. As I said, I think you are clear about sub granting. The money from FCRA to FCRA is not allowed now. Secondly, I said about the bank account in SBI. You have to be very clear about that. Wait for the guidelines. Let it come. Don't get panic. Because at the last time, at the time of renewal, people got panicked and they started sending money and forms to MHA, which was not used at all. So please don't get panic. Wait for the instructions from the ministry. Administrative expenses have been reduced from 50 to 20. Again, wait for the instructions. If there is any change in the calculation of administrative expenses, then we should be worried. Otherwise, you have to follow the system which is already there. Surrendering of FCRA, definitely we have to surrender your assets which you have created. That is again waiting for how they are going to decide about it. FCRA is like a lion in the room. They decide how they want to eat you. And investigations at the time of renewal, which is already there, they have put it. And the last one is suspension for 180 days is now extended to 360 days. These are the basically 6 major changes.
Yeah. Thank you, Harshji, for again sparing your time and simplifying the questions which have been bothering the minds of all the NGOs and MFIs, NGO MFIs which are working in the sector. Thank you once again.